Hello, everybody, and welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network and this AFC South show, episode 107. I am the host of the channel. My name is Curtis Brown, and with me, as always, our resident Jaguars fan, representing Duval, Isaiah Michelli. We also have our resident Colts fan, Mr. Pony Up himself, Colts Nation, Jeff Steckel. And our Titans fans couldn't be here this evening. I just plumb forgot to hit up TF. And then Blake is occupied. So we're going to be filling in the best we can, talking about the Titans game, as dreadful as it was.
Hiding in shame.
We got 8 subscribers between this episode and the last episode. So we're at 368. We're trying to get that 400 mark before the end of the month. So help us reach that mark. The ultimate goal, of course, is monetization. So if anybody along the way can help us get there, that'd be huge. Hit us up in the comments section. You can hit us up on Twitter, Curtis PD Network, or X, whatever the hell it is nowadays. Thank you, Elon, for the confusion. And without any further ado, let's get this like goal at 35, and we're gonna do a sub goal. Let's just try to go ahead and get to 400. All right. It was a big week across the AFC South. Half the teams won. The other half didn't, in spectacular fashion. And we'll get into all of that. But first, boys, how y'all doing?
A lot better after Sunday.
Isaiah just shakes his head in solemn solidarity. I feel that. I don't think anybody saw that game coming. So yeah, and we're saved that best.
I mean, I did say in the preview that I wouldn't be surprised the Jaguars fucked it up somehow.
You did,
and lo and behold, at home since 2017, once again, we have fucked it up somehow.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll get into that.
Oh yeah,
folks, hit the like, subscribe button. Let's talk about these Titans. The Titans traveled up to Cleveland to face an old AFC Central opponent in the Cleveland Browns, and the massage parlor bandit got away yet again. They looked awful. They looked real bad. The offensive line couldn't block anything. They honestly looked like the security guard that just kind of let Britney Spears attack Victor Wembanyama way back in those who know will know. The Titans' offensive line troubles continuing from last year to this year, progressing in a whole new form and fashion. It looks like they spent roughly $10 million a season over the next 3 years for Dennis Daly 2.0 and Andre Dillard. It doesn't help that Peter Skoronski, their first-round draft pick, has missed the last 2 games due to an appendectomy. Random onset appendicitis. Had to get that taken care of, but he, I believe, is practicing this week, so maybe that'll help in their efforts going forward. But God, that offense couldn't do anything. Ryan Tannehill barely scratched the surface of 100 yards passing. He was sacked 5 or 6 times. The running game never got going. We were talking before the show. Derrick Henry was on the field for a total of 18 of their 46 snaps.
That's how you win a football game right there.
Yeah.
You have bench your best player.
Yeah. And I have to imagine that's a lot to do with, they got down and game plans had to change. But there just seems to be a massive lack of a quick passing game coming out of Tennessee right now. With the offensive line troubles that they have, you got to have those 3-step drops, those quick reads, get the ball out of your hands quick, get it into your playmakers' hands, and see what they can do in space. They're not doing that. I mean, they were getting sacked heavy, and they're still got Ryan Tannehill back here doing 5 to 7-step drops, just putting him in harm's way. So the Titans are looking pretty rough right now, and it doesn't look really like there's. I mean, the week before it looked like they were kind of riding the ship already, but now it looks like the ship is found a new hole and a new thing to plug. We'll see how that adaptation goes on going forward. But do you guys have anything about that? About the Titans? Titans Browns?
They need some quick passing game. Jacksonville's got plenty of it.
Yeah, just look at Minshew, man. Dink and dunk, baby. No, it's when you're none of that makes any sense though. When you imagine the Giants playing. Well, I don't remember what percent you said that Henry was in the game, but imagine if the Giants did that to Barkley. It doesn't really matter. Really, unless if you're so far down, you bench your starters kind of deal. But you keep your best player on the field, and that's what he is. And he's a home run guy. Anytime he gets the ball, he can take it. Just because he hadn't to that point or whatever doesn't mean that he can't. So I don't know what the hell the Titans were doing. Tannehill completing half his passes because he probably didn't have time, and he's doing those deep drops. They had a few sacks. I'm going to be try to be the positive guy. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of positives to take away from that game, though.
Yeah.
Titans.
No, I'm with you on that. Isaiah, you got anything?
Not really. I mean, the Titans are not going to win football games. Henry only touching the ball, 11 times and on the field for 18 plays. Whether they're down or not, he's a home run hitter no matter when he gets it or what he does. So, at the end of the day, there's no excuse to have him off the field so much. Even on passing sets, he should be in catching screens or doing whatever. That's just not how they're going to win football games. They're not a team that's going to beat you through the air with Tannehill throwing bombs or anything. So. And they won games last year and the year before running the ball with Henry out of the hole. Not a lot of games, but, it's not impossible.
Well, I pitched the statistics. It was a little – there was a couple of games where it didn't happen, where he did hit 100 yards and they lost by a few points. But I think they won, 7 or 8 games when he hit 100 yards.
Yeah.
And he had more than 20 carries. It's what?
They definitely average more wins. Yeah, they definitely average more wins over 100 yards than losses.
Yeah. And Henry touching the ball 20, 25 times.
Mm-hmm.
They had 6 or 7 wins when he touched the ball more than 20 times. And all the other times, I think except for one exception, they lost. It's just, how are you not seeing this correlation? But whatever.
Yeah, lots of. Sorry, I'm trying to share the podcast at the moment. The live stream, I should say.
I'm just watching some film here so I can, not sound like a jackass whenever I say exactly what I'm going to say, which I know I'm right, but it's okay. Just going to make sure. So if somebody tries to call me out on it, I'll tell them to go back and watch the film like I did.
Yeah, that game was pretty rough. All right, Jeff, let's go ahead and talk about the Colts-Ravens game. We got that overtime finish. Matt Gabe makes the record 4 50-plus yard field goals to win that game. You got to be hyped.
Very. I picked Baltimore, and, my picks were all fucked up this week. And I like to be proven wrong. This is a game that I didn't really see coming. And, I have my player of the game, and I'll save him for last. And it's probably not who you'd expect.
Juju Brents.
It is. God damn it.
He's good. I like him.
I'll get to that in a little bit, though. You know, I'll start, offensively. The Colts are, I've got some numbers pulling up here. Give me a second. Sorry. There it is. Right now, the Colts are 23rd in tackles for a loss. I'm sorry, they have 23, so they're first in the NFL. 12 sacks, they're tied for second, and they have 7 forced fumbles. They're also, I think, 12th in rushing offensively, and they're like 10th in scoring, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're, I mean, there's a lot of drives that have been stalling out, but they're also, they've been efficient. They've been scoring when they've been given the opportunities. Minshew, I think this is a game of kind of a mixed bag, which is kind of what you get out of Minshew. He's kind of that Fitzpatrick type that, you're not really sure which version you're going to get on any given drive. He had some really good throws. I mean, he had a really good little lob pass. I think, Moss kind of had an over-the-shoulder catch that went for a touchdown. It was a really good pass. And then there was another play, I think, at the end of the second half where Minshew drops back and like you're expecting a Hail Mary and he just spikes it to end the half and even the announcers were like, I don't really get what that was, but okay. He stepped out of the back of the end zone for a safety. It actually probably wound up helping the Colts more than anything. But and then he took a sack from the same blitzer on the same blitz 3 times, and one of them knocked him out of field goal range. So he just had some mistakes, but he didn't throw any picks. He completed more than half his passes. He did as well as you'd expect, as well as any backup could do in a game, especially in Baltimore. He played well enough to win and to not lose. Zach Moss, his average per carry wasn't, astonishing, but that's not the style of runner he is. He still put up 122 yards, and you'll take it. They carried the ball 30 times. And, there were times where he was negative 4 yards and he turned it into a 3 or 4 yard gain. So there's a lot of positives with the run game. It might be hurting Jonathan Taylor's stock right now. And I'm fine with it. I mean, they're kind of proving they can run the ball without him. Maybe not as, have as much burst, but, they're proving they can move the ball. Pittman, I kind of came into the season doubting that he was a true number one. And he's the only receiver right now that has 8 catches in each game, or more than 8 catches in every game. So he's modeling consistency, and man, he had a great reception in this game. Like he had 2 guys draped on him, one guy's ripping his helmet off, and he still came down with it. I mean, that's a number 1 receiver catch. I'm another time where I'm happy to eat some crow. Josh Downs had another really good game. There's third downs, man. That's exactly what the Colts missed last year. He had 8 catches on Sunday. So
nice.
A lot to be happy with. I'm gonna switch to the defense because I'm stoked about this. Zaire Franklin had another 15 tackles. He's at 45 and he's on pace for like 252. So it's something stupid that he's on pace for. And they're not just like, he's making plays 20, 30 yards downfield. No, he's getting sacks. He's getting tackles for losses. Like, yeah, that's a hell of a catch. Franklin's everywhere. And I don't know if he's like, I think it might even be impacting what Shaq could do because Franklin's flying everywhere. We came into the season and I was really high up on Samson Ibuka. And, I was really hyped about him because I thought he would be a better run stopper, and he's been good, but damn, he can get after the quarterback. He has a lot of pride. I think he's had like a sack in every game. Same with Kwity Paye. EJ Speed, I think right now is outplaying Shaq. Like he's playing out of his freaking mind. He came up with a big sack, and you could argue pass interference there in overtime, but that was like a bang play. And, they didn't call, there's a lot of things that the refs just let go in this game and were letting them play. I mean, there was the guy grabbing, Pittman's helmet off. They were letting him play. So I was fine with it. There's just a lot of positives coming out of this, especially, Matt Gay breaking that record you talked about. I started him in every fantasy league.
Okay.
Matt Gay. But no, he was phenomenal. 4 50-yarders, won the game. My guy, man, Juju Brents.
Mm.
If you were, I don't know if you all were watching the game, but Baltimore got off to a really good start, marched down the field, scored a touchdown. Next drive, it looked like they picked up right where they left off. Kenyon Drake, I think he caught a screen and went for like 30, almost 40 yards. But Brents chased him down and like tomahawk chopped the ball out, recovered his own fumble. And from that moment, Baltimore never looked the same. Like they were getting after him. They tossed 2 fumbles on Lamar. One was recovered. He had one good drive, I think, there in the third quarter where they kind of marched down the field and you started to think, oh, same old Colt defense. And then they came up with some huge sacks. And, they never – this defense carried this team. And Juju Brents, I think he was targeted 5 times. He let up 3 receptions for 33 yards, and he had the forced fumble. That's in his debut. And I think he changed the trajectory of how the game was going to go. Is how impactful that fumble recovery was. So,
yeah.
Like Juju Brents is my guy. Like I've been calling for him, and he's finally out there, man. And he was laying some hits. He had a pass breakup, I think, against Mark Andrews, which isn't easy to do. And when he let up a catch, man, he was making them regret catching the football. He was laying some hits. It was fun seeing him. Yeah, man, he was making them pay for catching the football. It was fun seeing him out there.
Hell yeah. Isaiah, you got anything? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff.
Oh no, you're good.
No, I mean Franklin had another great game. I really like Zaire Franklin. I love defense. So anytime a defender does well, I don't care what team they're on, I love it. Juju Brents looked really good in his debut. He's long, he's athletic. I mean, he's everything you look for in a corner in terms of size and speed. He can tackle well for a corner. What, he's 6'3" and runs like a 4.3 or something like that. I mean, he's 6'2". I mean, he's a big dude. He's probably every bit of 210 pounds. I mean, he's a big guy. They look good. I mean, Minshew did what Minshew does, like Jeff said. He did just enough to not lose the game, just enough to, not enough to win the game, just enough to not lose the game. And defense really stacked it on. And Zach Moss continues to look, like a solid option. We'll see how the rotation flips up when Taylor's back. But as of right now, even if Taylor didn't come back at all, I mean, I think they'd be fine with Moss as long as he could stay healthy. But I was surprised that they won that game. I did have Baltimore winning it. But, as we've seen in the past with Baltimore, they are a beatable team. If one thing goes wrong, they kind of fall apart sometimes. And Juju Brents making those big plays. You said it was Brents that forced that fumble, right?
Yeah, he forced it and recovered it.
And he recovered it, yeah. I saw him force it. I didn't see him recover it. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where he came up with a big play. He's a rookie. It's his first game. It'll be good to see him develop and grow over the year. But I think the Colts played a good game.
I'm going to have to say this for Blake because he's not here. Minshew Mania. Running wild in Indianapolis right now. No, it's not. But Minshew goes out there, like you guys touched on, does serviceable jobs, and leaves the people of Baltimore hating the Colts organization even more.
Hate away, baby.
Hate on. This was honestly one of those games where it falls, and the next game also, but it falls under that any given Sunday category. And the Colts wanted it more. The Ravens team has looked lethargic throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. And even without the 6 or 7, premier players that they didn't have playing, you expected the Ravens to win that even though those guys were not out there. And they couldn't do much of anything. The Colts had answers where the Baltimores only had questions. The Baltimores. Wow. The Ravens. The Baltimores.
The Balts.
Go
Still a better name than the Commanders.
You guys saw that there's a...
Yeah, let's say they're suing them. Yeah.
They didn't actually want them to change the name.
Yeah.
White people.
Anyway.
White people.
So... yeah, props to the Colts for getting your second win of the season. They're sitting atop the AFC South at 2-1.
Our division to lose, baby.
Who do you guys play next?
The Rams at home.
The who?
The Rams.
The Rams. That could be an interesting game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's.
There was one little bit more praise I had. I forgot to touch on the offensive line. Um, you know, Raymond at left tackle. He's doing a great job. Quentin Nelson looks like he's back to being the big Q. He's been really good in pass protection. He's been opening up some of those holes for Moss. Even Kelly, unfortunately, he was out, but when he's been in there, he's been one of the top ranked centers against the pass. Even Fries, he's doing well. I think Braden Smith might be the lowest ranked, but I think he's like an average rating in PFF, so he's not bad. He's just, he gets some penalties and, he's let up a few pressures and I think a couple of sacks. But overall, man, this offensive line, and it's pretty much the same line as last year. This entire team is just playing different, looking different, and it's all it's all that credit has to go to the coaching staff. They have this team looking completely different. So, but yeah, that line is looking a lot better than it did last year.
Yeah, it's looking fresh. Looking fresh. Well, let's get into the only division-on-division opponent game this week. The Houston Texans traveled to Jacksonville and left with a W. Isaiah, do you want to go first, or
I will go first because we lost and winners go last?
Okay,
just to keep tradition. My first statement: this is not to take anything away from the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud, or what they did on Sunday. The Houston Texans did not do anything extraordinary to win that game. It wasn't like they were just, played perfect football. I think their right tackle had 3 false starts. They had like 3 or 4 holding calls. There was nothing necessarily spectacular about their game plan. The only thing I would consider spectacular about that game was the Anthony Beck. Anthony Beck? Is that his name?
Yeah. Andrew Beck.
Andrew Beck. Yes, the Andrew Beck touchdown. We'll get to that. Good job. I'm a fullback guy. I played fullback. I love fullbacks. Anytime a fullback scores, love to see it. But some things to say. CJ Stroud, I was right. Nothing else to say. CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in this class so far. He looks really good. We saw Sunday what he can do when he has literally zero pressure all day, basically. He diced up Jacksonville's secondary like it was nothing. Jacksonville secondary, I don't know what was going on. They were jogging. Darius Williams on a fucking cover 3 over just watches Tank Dell run up until he's right in front of him at full fucking speed, then decides to turn around and try to get over the top of him. That was the big play Tank Dell had down the middle of the field early in the game. For all those people that are like, oh, Doug Peterson took over in the second half, we look so much better. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. We literally ran the exact same offense when Doug Peterson was coaching in the second half that we ran in the first half. You watched the game, right, Curtis?
Yes.
Could you tell any difference in the play calling between the first and second half at all?
No.
Looked exactly the same. Well, allegedly from Mia O'Brien, Doug Peterson called the second half. But in the second half, we came out, we ran right up the middle of Travis Etienne, first play. Ran right up the middle of Travis Etienne, second play. Then we threw a screen to Travis Etienne, third play. And we got like 40 yards out of it, which is the exact same bullshit we were doing in the first half. It just didn't work. So just because it works doesn't mean the play calling's better. It means that they hit holes, they got lucky, whatever you want to call it. Again, I am an avid I like the Texans. Everybody knows on here that's watched the show for a long time. I never have anything bad to say about the Texans. I think they played a great game. They deserve that win. Jacksonville just can't stay out of their own way. Honestly, we had 2 or 3 fumbles on the day. Jamal Agnew needs to never touch the ball on offense ever again. That is his fourth fumble in 3 games, third fumble in 3 games, something like that. All on offense after catching the ball, just gets fucking destroyed and drops it, whatever. At this point, it is what it is. Fourth play of the game, Trevor Lawrence hits Calvin Ridley on a literal perfect throw towards the end zone while being covered by a linebacker, untouched, drops it. Just drops it, untouched, no problems, just drops it. We come out, and on the fourth play of the game, we throw a 40-yard touchdown that Trevor Lawrence sends on a fucking ice rope out there, that's a whole different ball game. We're up 7-0. That's a big play against the Texans defense. It demoralizes them a little bit. Instead, he drops the ball. We can't move the ball in the next play. Then we miss the field goal. Here we are. I think Trevor Lawrence said it best. Doug Peterson had nothing to say because he was fucking pissed. He couldn't really articulate anything because he was just so mad. You could tell.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence said it best. He was more cool, calm, and collected about it. But he did say, I don't think, unless there was one, there was not a single 3-and-out in that game for Jacksonville's offense. And they had over 400 yards of offense. They were consistently moving the ball. It was just 1 or 2 plays per drive, 1 play per drive, really, that would just completely stonewall them out of nowhere. That's the Calvin Ridley drop. Actually, Calvin Ridley dropped 2 or 3 touchdowns that game. We have 9 drops through the first 3 weeks. We're averaging 3 drops a week. 3 of them are big-time throws that would have been touchdowns that were dropped that would put Trevor from an 85 passer rating to a 95 passer rating for the season so far. We had like six fumbles to this point. Tank Bigsby had another tipped, attempt that could have been a pick easily by the Texans defense. Devin Lloyd dropped the pick. And then Darius Williams also dropped the same pick that could have been there. Just a really sloppy day. On that kick return, half of the Jaguars defense broke contain, and then they were all jogging after him, just like watching him get in there. Andre Sisco is like by himself, just jogging down the field whenever Beck's going towards the end zone. Could have easily caught him. Sisco ran like a 4.3, 4.4 something. I mean, he's definitely faster than Beck. Just a piss poor performance, honestly. I really don't have much else to say about it. Just, people who think that Doug Peterson looked better because we scored more points, just because it worked doesn't mean it was a different offense. It's the same offense. Yeah. Press Taylor's been under Doug Peterson for 20 years now. It's the same fucking offense. But that's all I really have to say. I'm just glad that I was right about Tank Dell and CJ Stroud. Big Tank Dell and CJ Stroud supporter over here. But yeah, so okay. It was nice to see.
Yeah. First of all, I was wrong. I said that the Texans would lose 42-13. I was way off base. Did I have any inkling that the Jacksonville Jaguars would allow us to do the things that we did? No. Not one thought in my head cropped in there like, oh yeah, we got a chance. And I've said as much. I said it on the show last week. But just because we won this game, and Texans fans, I want you to really crank the volume on this one, doesn't mean that we have a good team.
Very true.
We have a young team. We have a lot of talented players. We need time. It's one game. We don't need to go around crowning anybody. We don't need to go around, oh, it's our division this year. We were wrong. Our projections are wrong. We're going to turn it all around. We don't know that. We have no idea. This was a game where the Houston Texans were down 13 players. 9 of them would be starters. Well, more than that. Down 11 starters.
I thought it was 13 just on the IR, and you'll have
13 on IR.
Yeah,
and then Tunsil and Denzel Perryman.
Four got downgraded on game day, like Petrie, Tunsil. Yeah,
Petrie, Tunsil, and Denzel Perryman. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 16 guys, on inactive. That's one of those any given Sunday performances where a team just went out there, executed the game plan, executed it well. They made plays when they needed to. They got off the field and they won the game. That's what that was. I'm not saying that the performances that we saw are lightning in a bottle. I'm not saying that they are a flash in the pan. I'm saying it's going to be a long road. Don't get too overhyped yet. Let's wait until, we have some substantial, maybe multiple games in a row. Maybe, we get to like the 5-win threshold. Maybe we can start getting excited about next year. But at this moment, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, the Texans, oh, we're good, blah blah blah. We're a good team. We beat the Jaguars." Guys, slow your roll. Slow your roll. CJ Stroud has completely shattered my pre-season, I guess, idea of what he was going to be able to do. And that was given that he would have a better offensive line than he's had to this point. And he's been able to win his first game. He's been able to go out there and not throw interceptions. That was the best completion percentage he's had to date. 2 touchdowns, 280 yards. Good things coming out of 7. And it's getting me excited for Texans games just because it's like that. It's like when Deshaun Watson first got here. There was excitement around every game because you knew as long as he was in the game, there was a shot. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it could be one of those things coming around the corner. If
It's like
they
a
don't
massage
beat
parlor,
Detroit-
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You're excited going in, you're hurting when you come out, but for some reason you want to go back and do it again. You know?
Yeah, 26 times.
At least.
Anyway,
It's got the fast pass.
so let me leave the Texans fans with this. Enjoy the W. Celebrate the W. Let's not go crowning kings in week 3 leading into week 4. There's a lot more football left to be played. We've got a lot more division games left to be played. Just pump the brakes. We don't know what the future holds. Let's just chill. All right. Jeff, you got anything?
Yeah, I was watching the Colts game, through and through, and all these other games were pretty much happening at the same time, and so I was kind of scoreboard watching, and I kept going, "Fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
In this game. I'm not going to crown, CJ Stroud like the first Ohio State quarterback to kind of break that mold of bad NFL quarterbacks from Ohio State, but he's but given the fact that there's basically no line in Houston, and he's put up what he's put up, it's surprising. It's, I mean, I can't say anything else. He diced up. The Colts have a really good, front seven. Granted, it kind of happened in the second half, but man, he was making some good passes, and he had 66% completion against Jacksonville, and
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown an interception yet, has he?
No.
Yeah, I mean that's as a rookie, you've gone through 3.
Yeah. He's
that's good, man.
one of
I
4
can't say
starting
anything else.
quarterbacks to not throw a pick this season.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Hope he continues it. Honestly, I mean, that whole thing had to be broken at some point. Fields wasn't going to break it.
No. No.
It's terrible.
Definitely not Fields.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys have a winner there.
Yeah, I only just hope that this offensive line situation can be, because he wasn't sacked a whole hell of a lot against the Jaguars.
He wasn't sacked a single time. I don't even think he took it. Yeah, he wasn't sacked a single time. That's what I said earlier. Like, we literally did not sack him at all. I think he took like 2 or 3 quarterback hits. There was like nothing.
Okay. So first game as a starter with no sacks.
Yeah,
and
he
does pretty well. If they can continue that, and when the starters come back, that kind of mojo can be, continued push the rock up the hill, then we're looking at something pretty good. But for a young team, it's like an asterisk beside the pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited. Houston plays Pittsburgh next, which that defense is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Don't know how that's going to go. Who's Jacksonville play next?
Falcons in London.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you guys are doing the Toy Story game.
I'm making the prediction now. I know this isn't the prediction, but I'm making the prediction now. Jacksonville is going to go back-to-back wins in London, one against the Falcons, one against the Bills. And the only reason I say back-to-back, normally I would just say the Falcons, but we just have a tradition of beating the Bills for no fucking reason, especially in London. And also, it's our 13th anniversary, or it's our 10th anniversary of playing in London. This will be our 10th season since 2013 of having games in London consecutively. The London UK Jaguars page posted like there's gonna be a big surprise. I'm tempering my expectations because I'm thinking we're gonna have throwbacks for it, but before all of us get excited and think it's the 90s jerseys, it's probably going to be these babies right here. It probably won't be the color rush ones, but it's going to be the 2013 with the two-tone helmet because that was what we wore the first time we ever played in London. But that was something the Jaguars UK page did post, and it is our 10th anniversary, so don't be surprised if we roll out with the early Shad Khan era jerseys and helmets.
Okay. Scharnhorst in the chat
Duval,
says
Sean.
Duval Loudon. Huh?
I said Duval, Sean.
Says Duval loud and proud and hella disappointed.
Yes, sir.
Tail between your legs. Yeah, I understand. I've been there the first 2 weeks.
I mean, hey, on the bright side, the 49ers went 1-2 last year to start the season, and they lost to the Bears and like some other team. So, there's still hope. Is there a lot of hope? Meh, but there's still hope,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you get a 7th round draft pick quarterback, just turn into a diamond. Next thing you know, bam, 3-0 next season.
Next thing you know, Trey Lance is on the Cowboys, and yeah,
and that. Oh God,
what a trade!
I don't think Dak Prescott is
what
sweating.
a series of trades because they
Fuck
traded
them
up
picks.
to get him.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. Fuck them picks.
Ugh.
It's definitely not end of the season. Stroud looks great, nice pick, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And the Jags will get this straightened out. The Jags are still going to be the division favorites. They're like that's not changing after one loss to the to the Texans.
Yeah, we'll do that every year at home. What's the difference this year?
No. It's the Colts are not even. No,
It was never the Colts.
the Colts are going to be like we look at it like 4 or 5 wins. Nah, bro, 4 or 5 wins for the Colts, bro.
Hutch is absolutely the right pick. I like Walker, but damn, Hutch is getting out. Yeah, but you don't have to regurgitate you don't have to be Jordan DeLugo. Okay, you don't have to say everything that the media is saying. When we picked Trayvon Walker, everyone and their mother, all the analysts said that Hutch was going to be better for the first 2 years at least, and then Walker would develop and potentially be better. Walker's a better run defender. Hutchinson's a better pass rusher. He also is on a better pass rush team, so it helps him out. I mean, literally last year, 3 of his sacks he got walked into by the quarterback. We're not going into this right now, but don't be Jordan DeLugo. Don't just regurgitate the same talking points. It's okay. Walker is just fine, and he will continue to grow.
Yes. All right. Well, boys, I think we've come to the natural conclusion here. I want to thank you. I want to thank you both for taking time out of your evenings to talk about your teams. I want to thank everybody who's stopped by to watch. Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to get in front of new people. We got 35 like goal on this episode. Trying to hit 400 subs by the end of the month. 1,000 is the ultimate goal. So without any further ado, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for, helping the channel grow, and be good people.
2-1, baby. Go Colts.
Okay.